2013 has been a vintage year for marketing campaigns. Volvo pushed the boundaries of biomechanical possibility in its eye-watering commercial for its truck steering technology. Guinness jerked tears from the most flinty-hearted of viewers with its take on blood, sweat and basketball. And Kmart had us all crying with laughter in the advertising for its free shipping feature.
You hear that? I can ship my pants for free.
Wow.
These ads hit the right notes with consumers because, as all good advertising does, they made us cry or laugh or challenge us to think. They also put the brand and its values front and centre. But what advertising did the experts admire most this year? In other words, what are the marketers' marketing campaigns? I stopped by the iStrategy Digital Marketing Conference at London's Twickenham Stadium in October to catch up with some of the speakers and ask them that very question.
I think the recent campaign by Marmite has been absolutely phenomenal in that regard. Incredibly clever piece of television advertising, supported by all sorts of other channels too. And then crisis management in a rather clever way also, because the Advertising Standards Authority got a slew of complaints from the animal lovers. By the way, the complaint was not upheld, but very quickly the brand team donate money to the RSPCA to kind of to diffuse that whole thing, and as far as it almost went quiet immediately, I think. So as a total package, I think ThinkBox gave them campaign of the month recently as well. So I think that's been a very good example. And in terms I don't like, by the way, but in terms of the use of television for fame and then all these other media to iterate it out and leverage it, it's been a very good example.
The Marmite campaign worked across a number of different channels. Traditional above-the-line TV and poster advertising drove viewers to an End Marmite Neglect site, which in turn directed them towards the brand's Facebook page and the opportunity to win supporter packs and nominate up to 3 friends to be visited by the Marmite rescue team. The campaign was further supported by social activity on Twitter, Pinterest and YouTube, where viewers could watch additional videos and spoof behind-the-scenes footage of the rescue team at work. It highlights the critical role social channels now play in driving the success of a campaign, not least in terms of customer engagement.
What we're seeing with things like Facebook is that actually you start with an organic post, something that you maybe put out as kind of a piece of earned or owned media, and then you use paid mechanisms, be it promoted posts or something like that, to then boost and amplify the effect of that. So I think Dove Sketches campaign was a really interesting example of that. So a kind of a viral video was created, seeded out onto channels, and the really interesting thing was that the paid for media that they put behind that was almost done in real time. So they were identifying where there were pockets of success, putting money behind that to then support it and amplify it even further. And I think we're going to increasingly see brands doing that on a more consistent basis.
That seeding and amplification strategy clearly worked. In its first 2 weeks, Dove's Real Beauty Sketches attracted an incredible 3.17 million shares, more than any other ad has managed in the same period. The lesson? Cultivate the ability to respond in real time, something perfectly encapsulated in our next example.
Well, that Mercedes campaign I thought was really impressive, and they did that with Maxis, and that was, in case you haven't seen it, it was Twitter-led commercial content, and there used to be this really great book series in the United States called Choose Your Own Adventure. So you get to kind of choose the pathway of what you want to do, and the goal for the car launch was kind of to shift the perception that the Mercedes was kind of an old, sedate luxury brand, which it is, and it does that well. Wanting to reach a new youthful demographic. So during the X Factor, and through an enormous amount of planning, it takes a lot of planning to appear spontaneous, the audience got to drive the actual commercial content. So they got to decide in this series of 30-second adventures, what was going to happen next. And talk about powerful. They instantly boosted market share and instantly changed the brand perception for the new target that they wanted to talk about, and had oodles of test drives off the back of that.
The idea of putting fans in the driving seat is becoming increasingly popular as brands seek greater fan engagement. And Mercedes is not the only company doing it. Lego relies on its huge fan engagement to create buzz around its products and inspire customer loyalty, encouraging fans to unleash their creativity by submitting their own ideas and videos to drive further conversations around the brand. And that sense of fun and camaraderie is at the centre of their latest ad campaign.
I'm personally a huge fan of Lego. I think the way that the team at Lego have actually embraced digital from social through content and through the services they provide, to the point of actually allowing that to determine products. I think that's a fantastic exercise, and they're sitting on audiences of 60 million plus in their YouTube channels, which means when they have a new toy, a new product, they've got an audience to communicate it with, and it's a massively passionate, engaged community and audience that's sitting there. I think people like that are tremendously exciting.
What all these ads share is a capacity to think creatively about how to get their key message across, whether it be Dove's plea for female self-confidence, Mercedes' desire to charm a younger demographic, Marmite's embrace of its love it or hate it reputation, or Lego's appeal to our inner child. Finding that connection is key, and sometimes the message transcends the medium.
There's only one thing at the moment I can see that I wish I'd done in the UK, and that's the Heart Foundation, the Vinnie Jones stuff. Because I did a St John's Ambulance course when the kids were born to try and teach. I had to remember, in case anything happened with them, they were choking, or how did I bring them back to life? And I've got to remember 85 beats per minute when you're doing cardiovascular, and I can't remember 85 beats per minute, and I get my watch off and I can't remember. And what's brilliant about that is they haven't done 85 beats per minute. They've said, here's a song, Staying Alive. Just do it to the beats of Staying Alive. And that's 85 beats per minute. You don't have to remember 85 beats per minute. Just do it to Staying Alive, which is, of course, quite appropriate as a song. So if you remember Staying Alive, you save someone's life. And that's really, really clever, to get upstream of the whole problem and turn it into a new kind of thinking. And that I really admire that.
For more fantastic interviews directly related to your business, be sure to explore Meet the Boss TV.